all the computers inside these ships are communicating to each other, make sure they don't hit each other. So the moment the internet goes down in a wharf, no ships leave, no trucks come in, no cranes, no nothing is working. Because you also got to remember, a lot of wharfs now are all automated. They're not actually like person driven, they're remote control driven. A lot of the open cut mining is now remote control. Rio Tinto does a lot of that. So it's not just a small outage. This was huge.
Before we start, we need to tell you up front we are not a licensed financial planning, accounting or law firm. This is simply an education program which will give you factual information. We do not give any general or specific advice around finance, business, investing, options trading or anything else. That is not what this presentation does. Please see a licensed financial planner when it comes to any investment advice you need.
Hey, great to be part of this show, which is, of course, Greater Wealth with Derek Whittaker. All right, mate, good to see you.
Great to see you.
Mate, I'm ready for a big show. Of course, in the building as well, we've got Mr. Carter. Travis, sorry to see you.
I just saw Shaq's name. There's Shaq in the outback.
I'm doing a little tourism while I'm here. All right, now let's jump straight into the show. Derek, what are we going to talk about? Because you've got a few issues.
I'm always giving heaps about, having a Mac and all that sort of stuff. I'll tell you what, in the last few days, I wouldn't have wanted Microsoft. So.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
Well, in more than one way, you really don't want a micro or a soft.
No, very good point indeed.
So, look, this whole CrowdStrike IT outage has been huge. I mean, who would have thought from, your home computers through to entire media corporations being brought down, through to banks being brought down, global supply chains as a ripple effect as far as the airlines are concerned. So much was dependent on this software outage. And again, it shows you how fragile the whole system is to bring down the world. And so look, it's interesting. What is this going to cost us? I mean, it's really hard to say and give any estimate on the financial costs that this has given so many businesses. But what you've got to realize here is that this is going to really affect particularly the ports and the US global support ports and imports and exports, because they've all got to catch up now. Because if you miss that many hours
that's a good point,
of moving things and moving people, that gets backlogged. And we saw that, of course, at COVID. There was just weren't enough shipping containers to go around. There was a lack of shipping containers and microchips. The whole supply chain affected car prices, that whole ripple effect of economies. And so the question has really come down to it. How much have the global supply chains been disrupted due to this outage?
Well, quite a lot, I would tend to feel. Look, even little old us, we found ourselves, having to sort of wait here late at night, waiting to, restart things, or if things went down. Travis got on the blower to me and contacted me when I was out trying to have a nice, pleasant evening out.
Not too bad, so sad. Like, the world does not wait for Aaron Malloy to finish eating his prawn kebabs. I don't know what you're eating. I'm just making shit up. So. Yeah.
All right, mate. But honestly, that is a very good point. The backlog is going to be a big issue, right?
Shipments are up 13% year over year in June. Air freight supply has increased, but only 3% year on year. Remember, these are industries that are recovering from some years where, they couldn't get the microchips supply chains through. And now this is going to hit them. But look, you're expecting to bounce back. You don't think it's going to be huge because it wasn't like it was for a week or two. Having said that, it makes us question in terms of the security and online security, how bad it is. And we've had this topic, guys, for how many months now? Probably over a year. We first started it in terms of quantum computing and the vulnerabilities of hacks.
Sure.
We see how vulnerable it is. And I think businesses really start to need reassessing. I certainly have in my business, what information's out there on the internet? How dependent are you on the internet? What disruptions can actually cause you to go down?
24 years ago, there was a little Y2K thing, if people remember. Yes. And, all the preparations, all the work that went into that, and nothing happened. Okay. So we're looking at how much, a quarter of a century on, near enough. We've found the world is far more dependent on computers and IT than ever before, and certainly 25 years ago.
You can't compare the internet back then to the internet now.
No, you can't. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, well, it's a much bigger problem. If there's an IT issue like this, or there's a breach, or there's privacy issue, whatever, it's such a scale.
So I think what people actually really need to look at, it's not so much if there's a slight problem, how much of an impact it has. Back then, it was a tested and proven software to work, but it was slow, it was clunky, it was. If let's say you got 100 pieces and one of them disappears from a jigsaw puzzle, like it's a major thing, like, a big chunk of it's missing. But these days we're looking at a 100,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, and if one is missing, you don't really notice it. There's enough around it to sort of like to fill in the picture. It's not that important. So if you're missing a single pixel on a 80-inch TV screen, you don't really notice it. So the problem is what happens if that one pixel causes a cascading effect where half the screen then disappears. Yeah, and then also the other one, when you look at it even on a much grander scale. So you're thinking, okay, shipping, you're putting shit into a boat and it's driving off. Like, you don't need the internet for that. Well, you actually do, because all the computers inside these ships are communicating to each other, make sure they don't hit each other. So the moment the internet goes down in a wharf, no ships leave, no trucks come in, no cranes, nothing is working. Because you also got to remember, a lot of wharfs now are all automated. They're not actually like person driven, they're remote control driven. A lot of the open cut mining is now remote control. Rio Tinto does a lot of that. So it's not just a small outage. This was huge. So imagine all production, like let's say 70% of all production in the world just stopped for one day.
Yeah, okay.
Travis, that's an excellent point. And I'd also highlight how many operating systems are the world's computers actually on.
Yeah, all of them, every single one.
Right.
Except the nuclear codes, they're still on 1975, like, IBM.
So how many do we have in the world? How many are there?
I don't think people know. I think there's, well, think about, if we do a quick look around, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, my phone 9, the TV is considered a computer now as well. Just in this one room alone, the ones that you can openly see, there's about 12 or 13 computers in this very room.
Frightening. Yeah. Wow.
So every single one of them are connected to the internet, except the TV, because we're using an old analog TV because it's just cool. We've got an old school telephone, which is just cool as well. We haven't hooked it up. It's actually got its own internal microphone now.
It's right there, actually.
But I'm talking about Windows, right? Windows is
most of these are Windows.
System. Then you've got Mac.
Yep.
How many others are there?
There's lots. You can make your own operating systems, but you've mainly got the three big, which is in Windows, IBM, Apple, and Linux systems. But then the Linux systems you can break down into multiple different platforms.
So my point is this: if the primary two are Windows and Macs and three Linux, let's include that as well. That's a huge vulnerability because it's all centralized, isn't it?
Not really.
Oh, really?
Because
in terms of the operations, it is
the operation drive. So let's say Microsoft has a major critical failure in it.
Yep.
And that's, from what I'm reading, there was a failure in the update. When it got updated to all the computers, they all went over.
Sure.
And that's why we're telling people, do not update their computers for the short term. Hey, look at this, Windows just popped open. So by not updating, you didn't open your computer up to this error, but because they have automatic updates on so many things, because there's so many virus threats and all that sort of stuff, that's where it fell over. Now, my question is, that update that CrowdStrike organized through Microsoft, was that put there intentionally by like a hacker, or was it just a total screw up that had catastrophic effect?
Hey, was it maybe even, is there a chance it was connected to a particular event when in politics?
So that's the thing, like you don't know.
You just don't.
So it's a really, really tough one. And this is one of the reasons why, if you have a choice of upgrading your car or upgrading your computer when the quantum computers come out, do your computer before you do your car, please. Like, this is just me personally. Just the way a quantum computer operates and thinks, just normal computers will not be able to keep up with it. It's an absolute total paradigm shift. It's one of the biggest ones we're going to have, and it's going to make AI really, really scary.
You bring up an interesting point there, and I want to dive into it, because my IT better than probably myself and anyone in the room. Aaron, I'm not sure if you're an IT geek.
No.
So what I want to say here is this. Okay, let's say you've got a business operator who's got some old machines, right, in his business, her business, and they need upgrades. Are you saying they should wait till the quantum computing comes out, or they should invest in now, or just minimize what they need? What would you say?
We were told that quantum computers would be here in July.
Right.
And we're in July.
Okay.
So the Australian government is spending $2 billion on one quantum computer.
See, this is what gets me though. That technology is always expensive when it first comes out, and then you give it time, and it's cheaper because there's better stuff there, or it's cheaper to produce now.
Sure.
So, what do you do in this interim?
See, normally I would have said wait until it becomes affordable, like it's normal.
Yep.
So the problem is, can you afford to have people with malicious intentions
with them
having full access to absolutely everything you have?
Well, obviously not. But
so that's where the risk is.
Yeah.
So with a quantum computer, a normal computer can do about 16 or 17 tasks simultaneously. Okay. It's like reading 16 or 17 books at the same time. Okay. A quantum computer can read hundreds of thousands of books at the same time. So most security devices, they go, right, attempt 1, attempt 2, attempt 3, you're out.
Yeah.
Because it can process so many transactions, so many information things so fast at one time, a normal computer won't have the chance to catch up to it. So when you're trying to brute force a computer or a password, something like that,
sure,
0001, 0002, 003, all the way through all the sequences, they can do that before the computer realizes, oh, wait, this is a brute force attack. Let's shut it down. So they're already gained access to everything.
Just wow.
This is where the point. See, normally I would have said, yeah, just wait. Like at the moment, I'm still running Gen 8 i7 processors in my computers because they're still going through all the different series on the next generation. I generally wait 5 or 6 generations in. Okay. So what happens with this one? Can I risk not upgrading immediately, then re-upgrading again? So this is where you've got to decide how much stuff do you have in the online world where you can afford not to upgrade immediately.
Well, my thought on that is get it off the online world. Okay,
well,
put it into hard drives.
How do you get the certificate of title of your house offline?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
How do you get your superannuation offline? How do you get your investment portfolio offline? You can't do it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of these companies. So like there's Cloudflare. Cloudflare is one of them that do a lot of online security. Adobe pretends to do it. QLYS is a ticker for another company that's actually doing it really, really well for a lot of the big 500 companies. Okay. Their share prices are all over the place at the moment because it's just such a rapidly evolving and changing industry at the moment. It's like no one knows who's going to be the big player at the moment. Now, another one which really surprised me, which I didn't expect. Remember those old BlackBerry phones?
Yeah.
In terms, I always said the first ones have the real keyboards in them.
Yep.
Well, their speciality now isn't actually phones because let's be honest, their phones suck. It's actually online security.
Is that BlackBerry?
Yeah, BlackBerry now specializes in
which is what their phones were known for anyway. They were hard to hack.
They were amazing. They were actually generally good phones, but it was like one of those things. When you've got Nokia, Apple, Android phones coming out, which are cheaper and better than, same quality as yours.
Yep. Do
you keep going in an industry where you're losing money, or do you pivot? And they've done really good job pivoting. So think about, when was the last time you heard of someone buying a BlackBerry phone?
8-10 years ago.
At least.
Yeah.
But yet they're actually still doing very, very well in the corporate security side of things.
Okay.
Well, it's one of those things on a business sense. They've seen years ago that this is going to be a major issue. This is what the internet is causing. So they've pivoted and they were able to modify their business plan to match, and they're in a really stable and good position now. Is that going to stay that way with quantum computers and AI? Think about it this way. How fast can the majority of people type versus an AI?
Okay, yeah.
Which that can do, add on to that, instead of pressing 1 or 2 buttons at the same time, they can press hundreds of thousands of buttons at the same time in the correct order and send all these instructions in a blink of a second, like a blink of an eye. But humans and the modern day computers just cannot compete. Imagine trying to race a Ferrari when you got a Toyota Corolla.
Here's what I'm seeing in the phone industry, though. There is a lot of advertising coming out on social media for people who want phones that aren't tracking them. Clean phones, so to speak, or dumb phones.
Yep.
Great company for that one is Clear Phones.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're available on the Australian network.
Yes, they are.
They are. Okay.
Just don't put Google onto them.
And so this is the thing. Are you seeing as a market demand going, hey, we want to dumb down our technology and not go this path in certain areas to protect our privacy, to protect our information, versus the whole AI phenomena at the other extreme going, hey, we businesses want to get in this and we want to explore AI more, and how many staff can we lay off because AI can do it better, etc. So we've got this polarity of worlds going on in the IT as far as business is concerned. What's the future? What's your view?
I think a lot of companies got to be careful of AI is not there to replace staff. That's something we've got to be really, really clear of. It's there to make staff more efficient so you can actually take on more business without hiring extra staff. But you've got to keep the staff you've got because they already understand your business model, how everything works.
Yeah, I don't agree. I absolutely don't agree. I think it's gonna look, come on.
Shit in, shit out. You put shit information into an AI, shit will come out.
I get all that.
And I've tried this. I've tried telling an AI to train an AI to make advertising and write articles, and they're just terrible. They are absolutely disgustingly bad.
Okay.
So,
but for how long? That's the question. The unknown with AI.
Well, how much information is on the internet? Because that's where they get the information from. So people are always going to be putting shit into the internet, and that's where the AI is going to get their information from.
Okay. Okay. Stupid example, but work with me here. Okay.
Yeah.
You go to a supermarket now and you want actually somebody to scan your food and take it through the supermarket, right?
Oh, you mean you get a person?
Well, occasionally they do exist. I have found them, right?
Yeah.
But okay. Now, when that technology is obviously there to replace human beings, right?
No, it's not. They're getting you to scan your own items. That's not AI.
Yeah, well, it is AI, mate.
No, it's not.
Okay, every time,
AI's been around since the 70s.
Yeah, it has. I don't doubt it has. Obviously, just getting better and better. But what I'm saying is the tech that's not AI, but the tech has replaced jobs. Now, if AI is getting so good, most office jobs can disappear, right? Let's face it, anyone in HR should anyway. But,
it's arguable HR is actually human in the first place. So, to be honest with you, AI will probably do a better job than HR.
Correct. But you see my point, though, right?
Just don't work for someone else. Just work for yourself.
Yeah, well, look where we are.
That's not going to work for everyone, though.
No.
Right? I understand you. I get where you're going with that. But there are some other organizations. They need employees, and employees need them.
We don't have enough workers as it is. We have massive skilled and unskilled shortage in Australia. So if people don't want to work, they're going to have to go to another source, either importing them in or you're getting AI to do the work.
I went into a retail shop yesterday and I got, I think, probably the worst service I've ever received in my life. The girl was
why?
Whinging and complaining and it was so bad. I wanted to videotape it so I could make it into a video of this is what you don't do.
All right, Karen.
Everything is wrong. Total Karen, right? Okay.
Yeah. Right? Wow. We'll call you Kevin.
No, but I kept smiling. Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah. But I kept smiling because I just thought, and I started agreeing with her because I thought, I want to see how far she's going to go on this. So she tells me about everything, right? Okay. And it was so bad. Now, people say it's hard to get staff. Well, there are people out there. There's a lot of people now. COVID and all the carry on of giving people $750 a week to stay at home has changed the minds of people. People now don't want work. It's not. We don't have a skills shortage. We've got an issue with people too lazy to work.
When you have an award system that sets the minimum wage to be within, you'll have to double check this one for me, Derek, but our minimum wage is probably in the top 2% of the world.
Okay.
So why would you and you get everything given to you on a silver platter? Why would you work?
I know.
When your Centrelink payments is your weekly Centrelink payments for not working, not choosing not to work is more than what most countries earn in a month. Why would you do the hard yards? Why do you think people from other countries who earn like $200 a month are so keen to work for $100 a week?
Of course.
There you go. The new national minimum wage, this is from July 1.
Yeah.
Is $915.90 per week, based on a 38-hour work week for a full-time employee.
That's minimum wage in Australia.
That's minimum wage,
which is $24.10 an hour.
Get out of here.
No, deadly serious.
That's the minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
No way.
Yep. And then if you're a casual doing full-time hours, remember you got 20% on top of that. You got superannuation on top of that as well. All your work benefits, sick leave, holiday leave, some of the best working environment conditions in the world.
Sure.
And yet you get these pretentious assholes who go, no, I'm not working for less than that. I don't get out of bed for less than $60,000 a year.
Put that in perspective, though. That's not going to buy you what it once did with increase in terms of rent, housing, and also inflation.
True.
All right. So it sounds like a lot. You've got to bear in mind it's more expensive to exist.
Oh, look, there's a time in my life that's about $45,000 a year. I mean, I remember making that kind of money, and I was living bloody well. Yeah. That's a long time ago.
God, I hate this argument. No, it's the fact that everyone wants everything now. They're not. If you are looking for a job to get that sort of money, you can get that anywhere across Australia.
Sure.
You don't have to buy a house in the heart of Perth.
No, you
People got to start understanding, like, for your first home, it's not going to be a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
The whole system that we're in now is totally different to what it was.
Yes,
you know,
but when
50
people are
years
charging
ago.
$250 to $300 a week for a granny flat out the back,
Oh, mate, no.
Guilty.
per week, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You know, come on.
Yes, but we're also 40 minutes from the city.
Exactly.
So you can still buy a $200,000 3x1 in Geraldton.
So what I'm saying is, okay, I hear what you're saying, but you've got to also keep it in perspective. Your money does not buy what it used to.
Doesn't. No way in the world. No.
Yeah,
Like
but also the government also does hand out a crap ton more than what it used to too. So it's give and take. So if you want all the socialist programs, you got to be prepared to pay for it.
I'm not justifying, but I'm saying, hey, it's not as big an increase as you think it is with that in perspective. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, wasn't even aware it was that much. In my mind, I thought the minimum wage was probably about.
You know what the WA average is?
It's a 3.
Look,
all right, put it in perspective. It's a 3.75% minimum wage increase.
Okay.
So it's gone up almost 4%.
Yeah,
there you go.
But inflation's like 6% or something.
I'm just out of touch.
So the other one is, do you know what the average wage is roughly in WA?
Nope.
About 92,000 a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they take into a lot of the mine site wages as well.
Of course, and they have to.
Yeah.
You know, we're a mining state, so yeah, makes sense. And then when people from the other side of the country or other countries look at that, I mean, they just, their eyes light up. They'll just think, oh my word.
Yeah.
I remember this is quite some number of years ago, probably 16, 18 years ago, I was in Queensland, and everyone was like, not everyone, but so many people just had this assumption, oh, you're from WA, you must be rich, right? Because they go, oh yeah, everyone's got a 4x2. And that was just not.
They're pretty rare these days.
Yeah,
4x2. Mostly it's like 3x1s that are getting built, especially with townhouses and all that sort of shit. Yeah, it's 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house is pretty rare.
3x2s are pretty much the common go now. Yeah, they dropped the bedroom. And yeah, I mean, there's no formal dining anymore, mate. There's no formal lounge.
Yeah, it's called a couch.
That's all gone. Yes, I think actually the lounge now folds out, it becomes a bedroom, so it's pretty much that size.
So I'm finding it fascinating how, because obviously I do a lot of strata work now.
Yep.
How little land releases that are over 600 square meters, they just don't exist anymore.
Crazy.
So, and it's not so much like, oh my god, is like, take Luan's family into account. They're not even in Hanoi in Vietnam. So they're about 4.5 hours away in Ha Long Bay.
Yep.
So yes, it's touristy place sort of things, but their block of land is only 211. I think it's 211 or 230 square meters.
Okay.
But it's 6 stories up. Everything's up. So it's really weird. You go through all these rice fields and paddocks and everything, and then all of a sudden there's high rises for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and then it goes back to paddocks. So everyone builds up. They don't build out like in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know. I grew up being able to play backyard cricket, you know, and like, you know, I didn't realize how incredibly lucky I was at the time, you know, and I mean, I grew up on a 1,400 square block, which was the norm, you know, it's probably a bit bigger than the norm.
Back in the 1940s.
Well, yeah, but I lived in a house that was built in the 1940s, so that probably had a lot to do with it.
Quarter acre block.
Quarter acre block, and yep, that's right.